New toy, what we got here?
All right, so this is the Lizard 105S, or AKA something that came from the movie The Fly. This is a very interesting looking quad.
What is that big black thing? That's what I see.
This is the antenna.
The antenna, wow.
Yeah, so this is the FPV VTX antenna.
That's way different.
Very nice, actually. That's pretty cool. It connects to a UFL connector. Hold on. Start first. You got me, squirrel. Hey guys, Will and Basil here with Grayson Hobby. Today we got something special here. This is a Lizard 105S. This is new from Eachine.
105S means it runs on 10S.
Not 10S, but 4S. This is a 4-cell Lizard from Eachine. It's a little bit bigger. It's a 105 versus a 95 size.
Right.
A little heavier, but it's got a couple features packed in this little guy. We'll see what happens.
And what's pretty cool about this is, I'm kind of letting the cat out of the bag early here, it's got HD recording capabilities.
Yeah, it's an interesting little feature here. It says HD camera on the box.
Right.
There was no documentation with this, so we're kind of going with what we see.
Just to be clear and upfront and transparent, this came free of charge from Eachine.
What happens, okay?
All right, so here's the review.
New product here, guys. I'm literally looking at this pretty much for the first time. So what we have here is a 105 diameter motor system here. So it's a little bigger than the Lizard 95. It has...
By 10?
It's a 105 versus a 90. I'll let you do the math there.
95. 10.
Is it a 95? It is a 95. Shit. Okay, you win. So it's a slight bit bigger. So right off the bat, we're dealing with 1104 6000 kV motors. I would have liked to see an 1105, 1106 on this one because it's a bigger quad, but we're using the same motors as the Lizard 95.
Okay.
However, we are running bigger props. They look to be like a 2440, something like that, like a bigger Gem Fan style.
Right there.
So you'll see they're 2.3, 2.4 inches. About close to the size of a Torrent prop, actually, it looks like. So we're running bigger props, more thrust on the 1104 motors at 6000 kV. The flight controller, this is a little unique here, guys. The flight controller is an F4. It registers as an F4 Omnibus SD OSD in Betaflight. Now this has the isolated gyro. If you look down in there, the gyro is like soft mounted in that little gel case. So there's a replaceable gyro system that unplugs in there. Not a fan of that ribbon cable being exposed there. I would have actually.
What's that ribbon cable for, though?
This is a cable that goes from the gyroscope to the flight controller.
Oh, so it's just like a plug cable.
Yeah, so it's replaceable, but I don't know how much a replacement gyro ribbon harness would be.
Those are a pain in the neck to get at, if it kind of what I'm thinking about.
I mean, it's silicone down and all that. Not crazy about that being there. I would have liked to see the board maybe turn backwards to protect it. Who knows?
That's perfect for getting like a tree branch.
Yeah.
Ripping it right out.
I believe the specs is like a 25 or 28 amp ESC. I don't have any documentation for it, unfortunately. There's no manual, no specs, no nothing on this yet. So the ESC down there is a bigger ESC.
Better to come with?
So that's the other big change. Eachine's running a 4-cell. So this, not only is this bigger props to get theoretically more thrust, it's running 4-cell versus 3-cell on these motors to just, this thing's gonna be fast.
So
it's gotta be fast.
Wow.
But moving on from that.
So what kind of camera system? This is my coolest.
That is the next thing. So the camera in this.
This is gonna be the new wave of the future right here.
This is like a mini split or a micro split or something like that. It's using a tiny CCD camera. So it looks, or I guess actually no, it's probably CMOS because of the split design. So we got a micro camera here running to the ribbon cable down here, goes down in here to a board that if you look carefully, an SD card fits in here. So it takes a micro SD right there. So you're gonna be able to record HD video, I guess 720p, 1080p, I'm not really sure. If we find out specs, we'll update after we do some flying and all that. It just says HD camera.
Yeah, the box just says HD camera. It doesn't say anything about
so that could be a hit or miss. It could be a high resolution like a Micro Swift.
But even now, even if it's 720, it's better than that crap we get with
just on standard,
Just- yeah.
from like a DVR recording.
Right,
So it's
so-
going to be better there.
I wonder what the lag is in this guy.
Not sure. We'll have to find out on that one.
So lag, real quick, is if you are... Tell them what lag is.
Lag is the the latency between the actual video and what's
Right. So you're hitting the tree, the quad's hitting the tree, and you're just now seeing it.
Yeah. It's just latency.
Yeah.
Okay, so the VTX is separate from the camera because of the split design. So we got a VTX up here. There's a button, which there is a zip tie pushing the button, kind of. Not completely, but it's right on that. Not crazy on how that's held in there. So, but it does have a UFL connector here. So unlike the regular Lizard that has the antenna that breaks off and you have to solder a new one on, stuff like that, or run a dipole, this already has a UFL connector going to it, so you can change the antenna out, which judging by this, I don't think you'll ever need to change this antenna out. It looks like it's pretty good. But the VTX is right there. I'm imagining it's switchable. Again, when we get documentation and all that, we're waiting on Eachine to send it to us, but we just got this as a surprise. And then let's see, what else we got here? A little buzzer assembly. Now this, I'm assuming sits vertical. When we actually got it, it was floating in the box. So I don't think it's gonna go sideways because the props would just disintegrate that thing. So I'm imagining this is gonna sit vertical. Personally, if it was me, I would omit this and just run a buzzer. The LEDs,
What is it, LED or buzzer?
It's LED and buzzers. Two LEDs and a buzzer.
Okay. I'm not a fan of LEDs.
Yeah, I mean,
they look cool, but I don't.
If you're flying with other people, I understand, so you can see them and all that. But that's that part there. So we got bigger props, same motors, bigger ESCs,
So
better flight controller.
I know. What receiver is that?
This is actually something we'll do. This is a FlySky receiver in this case. This is the FlySky model. It looks like the i6B without pins, or the X6B receiver. It just has one plug on it, soldered on antennas, and there is a bind button and it looks like an update button there. So I would imagine it's like the X6B receiver, but scaled down or modified.
All right.
So we got a FlySky there.
We got those little guys.
Yeah, there was prop guards in the box, so it looks like it's going to include prop guards.
So how do you get those prop guards on?
That's a good question.
Because that looks like they have feet down there, right?
The only way I could see it is possibly changing these screws, mounting the prop guard in between the motor and the thing.
Doesn't look too easy right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to fit underneath because of this plate here. It's going to sit above, I would assume. So we'll have to check that out when we do a review video. We'll take a look at that. I don't know if I'd do that though, because you're going to be dealing with probably hot motors from the 4-cell and the extra prop onto plastic. It might melt, might soften, might loosen screws.
Yeah,
so we'll have to take a look at that.
Yeah, put it back in there.
Yeah, we're gonna pretend that never happened, right?
Yeah.
So there's the prop guards there. Camera is fully adjustable tilt, so we got adjustable tilt there. The antennas they're out there. I would probably zip tie or shrink tube, reinforce that something so they don't get eaten by the prop.
But just from my eye behind the camera here, look, everything looks pretty clean.
Yeah.
Soldering looks pretty clean. No globs anywhere. Looks like they've upgraded their assembly process.
Do like the shrink tube over the wires like they did it with the later Lizard 95s. That's kind of nice, keeping the wires a little clean up to here, so you know, less likely to get frayed up and pushed up into the props. The frame is different. You guys can look, there's some familiarity with a bigger frame out there. We won't mention any names, but there is familiarity with another frame out there, but it uses a cross brace for strength as well. Another little thing I'd like to point out is when I hooked this up to the computer, it did say there was a barometer. I haven't actually checked and tested it, but I think this flight controller may have a barometer. So if you set them up right, that gives you altitude hold while you're flying. So if you're learning and all that, if you tune it right, in theory, it'll keep the elevation the same, so you don't like dive into the ground in some turns.
On turns, because most people don't get throttle on turns.
That's more in conjunction with like angle and horizon mode though.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's pretty neat. The board is feature packed.
Does it have GPS?
No, it does not have GPS. So for those of you asking, the old Lizard on 3-cell is 66.4.
No battery.
No battery. And the new one is 87.3.
Oh,
so it's a porky little guy, but it has some stuff. And we're gonna be dealing with a heavier battery. I think the stock battery was like 45 grams on the 95, so it's a heavier battery there. We got a little more weight, bigger props, should be more thrust on 4-cell. I would imagine this thing's gonna be a screamer. It's got prop clearance. It's very close in the front here though, so I mean, we're pretty much maxed out on the props there. Any flexing and all that, it might actually clip. I don't know if you can see that. It's got a lot of metal, carbon fiber hybrid frame. So we'll see with the arms, the way they're shaped and all that, should be pretty strong. I mean, does feel rigid. I mean, super rigid. So I don't think we're gonna have like vibration issues or anything like that from being, you know, too thin of a bottom plate. We'll just have to see how it goes, and we'll go from there.
All right. So there it is, a quick introduction. It just came in, literally delivered by
It's been a while,
Zero.
Guys. We haven't done a video in a while.
Here, please hit that subscribe button and that bell. Be notified next time we do a video on the flying video, and we'll let you know. Thanks.
Stay tuned, guys.